The CCT welcomes the expansion of BRICS into a bloc of progressive and forward-looking countries of the world, which must end the imperialist domination of the world by the West. The inclusion of Ethiopia, Egypt, Iran, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia and Argentina into what is now BRICS plus 6 is a step in the right direction because it is underpinned and defined by the need for common prosperity and not by the neo-colonial need to exploit the world's natural resources in the same way the imperialist West has been doing. We believe that in addition to the 6 new countries that will be admitted into BRICS in 2024, there has to be an inclusion of Cuba, Venezuela, Palestine, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, and all progressive must support BRICS as an alternative to the G7 and the NATO war alliance. As the economic emancipation movement, which amongst other principles embraces Pan-Africanism, we believe that African countries should use our proximity to our friends in BRICS plus 6 to pursue the development of Pan-African infrastructure programs and projects. The African continent is still far behind in terms of intracontinental infrastructure and projects that can uplift the lives of our people. The African Union and all African countries should speak in one voice to pursue partnership that will result in the development of economically beneficial Pan-African infrastructures such as railway projects and electricity transmission lines that will interlink the entire continent and bring about electricity and industrial expansion for jobs and economic common prosperity. These are issues we will be raising and placing on top of the agenda during the 16th BRICS plus 6 summit in Russia in 2024, because we'll be the government of South Africa and will represent South Africa at the BRICS plus 6 summit in Russia. Comrades, any formation that creates a multipolar society in which the imperialist forces are isolated, as an anti-imperialist movement, we welcome that. Every country that participates in any multilateral bodies always look after its interest. They first look after their interests before they can look after the interests of other members. So we're not naive about the relationship of these other countries with America and the NATO war alliance. We are quite aware. But we are confident that the leadership, which is at the center of BRICS, particularly China and Russia, and to a particular extent, Brazil, we know that they will not allow the nonsense to happen, as it were, at that level. So that's where our confidence comes from. So, and that's why the argument in the EFF is that, in our statement, is that, guys, the leaders of Africa, let's use our participation in BRICS, let's use our participation to ensure that there is an infrastructural development in Africa, not only in South Africa. Let's use this to connect the continent. Let's use this for more investment in the continent so that by the time the imperialist forces open their eyes, we are a fully developed continent. Because South Africa developed alone in this continent will not be. Look, the DA goes into its conference and declares us enemy number one. They go into their coalition things to the moon. On their way to the moon, they declare us enemy number one. When you declare people enemy number one, it means you are in war with them. The DA has declared war against the EFF. And in this Central Command team, we have accepted the invitation to war by the DA. We're not scared of the DA. We're not scared of Action SA. We're not scared of the Oppenheimers. We're not scared of anyone who has invited us to the war. We're here today to accept the war and to accept that we're enemy number one of the white monopoly capital. And we will not be defeated. The DA will never defeat us. The ANC will never defeat us. So the DA should know that the invitation to war has been accepted. We have never declared war against anyone. We were doing politics and saw everybody as a political opponent rather than an enemy. But since we are an enemy now, let's go to the battlefield. 2024 will separate boys from men, girls from women, because the DA thinks that it can defeat the EFF. The white capital has invited you, the ground forces of the EFF, to war. It's up to you to decide if you want to be defeated or not. As the ground forces of the EFF, we have a responsibility to defend the movement on the ground. And you do that by winning votes. Let's defeat the DA and defeat the handlers of the DA. We must make sure that whatever happens, the numbers of the ANC and the EFF combined go beyond 55%, so that this DA can never constitute government without the EFF, and the ANC can never constitute government without the EFF. Someone said, we are the kingmakers. We are not the kingmakers. We are the king. Thank you.